Today we're going to use the Markov Melody Generator, which isn't as scary as it looks. If you can't find it in RapidComposer, go into your settings and miscellaneous, and then scroll right to the bottom, and under experimental features you'll see the enable Markov Melody Generator, and then you'll need to restart RapidComposer for that change to be picked up. So we're going to start off with the melody track. I'm going to add another track here, and I'm going to call this the guide track because I'm going to put some chords on it just to test the harmonies and get a general feel of how well the melody works. This is the melody track, and I'm just going to drag in 4 bars of chord generator. Hit the scale lock so that the chords are transiting quite smoothly. I'm just going to mute this, and we're going to drag across 2 bars of the Markov Melody Generator. I think it works better with short clips, and we're going to have a listen to that and develop what comes up. I don't want the rhythm to be too busy, so I reduce the number of subdivisions to 4. Now go into the generator. You can adjust all these values yourself, or you can hit randomize and then regenerate until you see a shape that looks quite good. There aren't too many leaps and the steps go in nice directions. I certainly think that's something we can work with in this particular piece. Now there are quite a lot of notes over 2 bars there, so we want to harmonize those chords based on something smaller than bars. What I'm going to do is to harmonize on beats. I want to start with the first chord, and it doesn't matter where we finish, we're in the middle of a phrase. In the middle of a part, I should have said. And that works quite well. I think it's a fairly fast tempo for what we're trying to do. As I say, there are quite a few short notes in there. So I'm going to take the tempo down from 120 to 90. And that certainly works. I very much like this second part of the melody, and we're going to use that to develop the theme. So what I'm going to do first is to convert this clip to absolute notes. That way, when we're in the editor, in the phrase editor, copy that across, and now I'm going to work on the second copy. I'm going to move this across after deleting the other notes. The absolute notes just makes it easy to hear how it's going to sound as played when you're editing. Don't want too many notes in there. We're going to finish this second part off by building it back up again. So you can see on the left hand side the notes descend, and let's take them back up so we've got a nice little shape. bum 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 bum. Yeah. We can get away with shorter notes because we lowered the tempo. Want to end on the G, which is the 5th, which will take us back into the first chord again. And we're just going to apply that. And let's harmonise it so that we can see what it sounds like with the chords. And what I want to do here is just to make that last chord a G. So left clicked on the E minor and hit the delete key. It extended the chord from the previous beat, which was G already. I'm going to add some instrumentation, and we can get a feel for what's happening. Now, because these are short strings, the actual notes aren't being sounded to the full length, but I'm going to leave them like that. I'm going to fix that double note. I could go and shorten all those notes, but it doesn't make any difference, and I'm quite lazy in that respect. I might want to use a different instrument which has more sustain, and therefore I would have to lengthen them again. Adding some instrumentation to the guide track gives us a feel for what it's going to sound like, opposed to using the piano sounds. I think this is quite important when it comes to adding more than 2 or 3 instruments in there. You need to hear them differently and get the textures from them. I'm just going to minimize this track now, and I'm going to add another track. This again is going to be called Short Strings. And I'm going to bring in the string staccato generator. Just stretch that out to 4 bars. Maybe bring the number of voices down. Of course, I actually need to mute the guide track, and I need to add the instrument to the short strings staccato generator track. And you can see how that's starting to build up. It's got some rhythm into it. I'm going to make those a little bit higher. And again, as I say, bring the number of voices down and maybe slow up the momentum. Previewing in context, if you click the button with the little line underneath it, you'll hear the other instruments and the chord changes as well. So quite happy with that. What I'm going to do now is to add the same thing but for a different instrument. So I left click the original track and then press the star key on my keyboard, which will duplicate the trike, and we'll call this one short woods. And this time we're going to add a woodwind section. Let's just solo that so we can hear how that sounds. So we can hear the motion of that staccato generator. I'm going to make them a bit higher. It's personal taste, but I like the woodwinds to be poking out of the top of the strings. Okay, I've just changed the string one there to so it doesn't clash. What I did with the woodwinds was to just simply left click the phrase and press G. And that will regenerate the phrase on the fly. So I'm quite happy with that. The momentum of the staccato generator actually gives some of that bounciness to the song. We're going to add another trike, call it bass line, drag in a bass generator. Again, I could have changed that to be a 4-bar phrase, but I forgot, and it was set at 2 bars. But it's not a problem, we can drag it out. Now I want this to be on the quarter beat because I want it to bounce. I don't want any strong accents. I just want all the notes to be the same strength. I'm going to right click these allowed notes, so I'm only left with the root. And we can hear that bouncing along nicely. So as I say, we'll extend that out to 4 bars, and we'll add the instrument, which in this case is the pizzicato strings. It could be a tuba, if you want to make it even more bouncy. It could be whatever you want it to be. Now I don't want any looseness on these strings. I want to take the reverb down on them. So make them nice and tight. Otherwise they'll bleed out amongst the other notes. I want to be punchy. So I think that's the first part pretty much done. So we've taken it and duplicated that part. I'm just going to name this short strings. So again, I know what I'm doing at a later date. And again, left click this track, and I'm going to press the star key. So I've now got a duplicate. I'm going to take out these alternate sections because I want the second track to play the melody on a different instrument. So the first track is the short strings, and they end at bar 5. And the second track, we're going to use some brass from bar 5 onwards. Very nice. what's happened there is because originally the phrase was for the short strings, they're too high for those horns. We're out of range, so I'm going to bring those down by 1 octave. Sort of cowboy theme feel to it in some ways. I'm going to change the end, it's too busy. No, it's too much in there, it could end. These two notes out. Let's extend this one across. We've got an instrument that sustains, so we can afford a long note. And that works quite well. See the whole thing. Just going to alter the first note. Yeah, I want to put it there. It's a bit cheesy, but you get the idea of how we've taken what the Markov Melody Generator produced and developed it into the theme that we want to use. I've added some oboes here. They're just chords because I've created some space by deleting the short strings. I was going to call it short brass. Now, I think to finish it off, and I'm just going to minimise all the tracks so I've got a bit of space, and we're going to put a harp. This second section is quite empty compared to the first. Double click on part 2, line 1 to zoom up just that part, adding another track called harp. I'm just going to change the name of that to oboes. It's a kind of track that you don't really know the instrument is there, but you would know if it was not there. I quite like that kind of effect with those oboes. We're going to add the harp instrument, and you'll notice that we've added an arpeggiator. Just want to add a bit of additional ambience to the harp sound. Very nice. Let's hear it. Now, for some reason the sound of the horns has dropped out. I'm I'm not sure why that was, but we'll fix it later. I'm going to take a 1-beat diad run for our harp, and it's going to go upwards, and we're going to go into simple divisions. Let's try it with 16th notes. Let's be a bit bolder. Yes. Move it down a bit and let's hear what it sounds like. Yeah. It just adds that bit of extra effect. As I said before, it's personal taste. Continuing with the arpeggiator, and I think what goes up must come down, so we will add another diad run, and we'll make this 16ths. Run downwards. Yeah. Must remember to apply. And that works quite well. Just add the next diad run at bar 8. That's 1 beat. This is going to go at 1/32 again. Just take those strong accents off. Yeah. It's quite a bouncy piece, so you know we can afford to make it sound a bit of fun. So let's just add the remaining harp arpeggiator in there. Actually, we've not got 1 bar left, we've only got 3/4 of a bar, so I'm going to shrink that. I could have left it, but I don't like the idea of 4 beats hanging over or a beat hanging over the edge.